Hi Floss Tube. So I wanted to continue where I stopped yesterday with what I have cross-stitched before. Um, so I'm going to start with the first thing I ever cross-stitched on fabric, which is this little giraffe. I got him from a book that my mom had, and he's supposed to be an ornament, but I just have never made him into an ornament because there's not a lot of fabric at the bottom and the top. So I might do something to him this Christmas, especially now that I have much better sewing skills than I did when I was in 5th grade. So that's the first thing I cross-stitched. Little Christmas giraffe. I have a list. Christmas giraffe. Alright. The second thing I ever cross-stitched, I don't have. Most of the things I've cross-stitched so far have been gifts for people. I cross-stitched a little Dallas Cowboy football helmet for my 5th grade teacher. I think my mom made it into a cup coaster. Yeah, but it was just most of the things that I've done until I got to college for the most part have been about this size. Alright. The third thing that I attempted to make, this never got finished. I was still in 5th grade when I was making this. Was a Mickey Mouse. It was really big. It was probably about like maybe this tall. But I didn't know anything about black not doing something solid black not being easy. So I got his ears done, and I got done, like, basically I could have gotten away with saying it was finished if I just said I made Mickey ears. That's basically how far I got, and I have no idea where that is. It's not in my mom's cross-stitch box, it's not in my cross-stitch box, so it probably got thrown away at some point by now, or the fabric that I didn't use got cut off and the part that was stitched got thrown away. Who knows? The fourth thing. I love monkeys. So this is from a baby book. It's supposed to go on like a sippy cup, but I wanted to make it into a pillow, and I never got around to it because a lot of these beginning ones were like 5th and 6th grade. So I was going to make this into a little pillow for my stuffed monkey, but it's meant to go on like a sippy cup for like a baby. It came with like, there was a pattern for a bib and a sippy cup and a rattle, and I just really liked this one because it looked like my stuffed animal who's named Tina. And yeah, so it's a monkey sliding down a banana, and I decided that I didn't like back stitching. I just did the back stitching on this one this summer when I found it again because it wasn't done. I decided that I didn't like back stitching, and this was the first time I did back stitching, because at the beginning I used the same number of strands. I think it was 2, might have been 3, for the mouth and the feet. Basically I used the same number of strands I stitched everything with for outlining, except for the outside of the banana and the nose, because by the time I got to that part my mom corrected me. So the inside of the toes of the monkey right here are done in 2 strands, and the outside is done in 1. And once I realized 1, it looks a lot better than 2, because he looks like he's got like black lipstick on. But he's still kind of cute. So that's my fourth thing. Right. The fifth thing I have cross-stitched is, this is called Arcabana. It is a place in Mexico. It has not been outlined yet. I stitched this while I was at Arcabana in Mexico. It has not been outlined because they didn't have any black, and I just never got back around to it because I didn't know it wasn't done. But there's now 5 Girl Scout World Centers, and I have been to 3 of them. And I'd like to stitch all 5 of them, but I only have 2 of the patterns, and I can't find the other ones anywhere. I would show you them, but I have no idea if they're copyrighted. I have no idea how to find them. So that's that one. When it's all outlined, I need to redo the roof. I feel like I did this because that was the last of the red they probably had, but it's outlined in like blocks of 3. So it says, it's going to say Arcabana down here in black lettering, and all of this is going to be outlined. And I think, no, there was a bird in the sky in one of them, but I did the smaller one. So I just used what they had there when I saw that they had cross stitching there. And this was in 7th grade when I went. The next thing I made, I don't know, it's a Pop-Tart cat that's got like a rainbow coming out from the back of it. I made that for my brother for Christmas a few years ago when I was in high school. I think I was a sophomore or a junior. And I finished that. It was about finished size. It was probably, if I made this piece of fabric even, it was probably about the size of this piece of fabric. I didn't make it into anything because I wanted to make it into something he would want. I knew he wanted that because he was printing pictures of that cat left and right at that time. So I stitched it for him, and he never told me what he wanted it made into. So it's still somewhere with him, hopefully. Not made into something because he never told me what he wanted. Last year for Christmas, for one of my friends here, I cross-stitched a wrap bracelet from a kit that I got at Walmart. It was just a chevron stripe pattern going all the way down. And I cross-stitched for the costumer who graduated last year. For Christmas, I cross-stitched her a TARDIS and turned it into a picture frame pincushion. I also cross-stitched myself one this summer. I made myself a little sewing machine one, and this is what mine looks like. Here, I'll take the pin out, or at least the center pin. This is what mine looks like. It had a bunch of like spools of thread and a table. There's supposed to be a spool of thread there, but I just wanted the plain sewing machine for the pincushion because I thought it would make my pretty pins stand out more. I wanted a separate pincushion for all of my pretty pins that I use to like mark the center or count when I'm cross-stitching or doing anything, basically. So that is that one. This summer I also cross-stitched a bib for my cousin who had a baby. I won't go into what I think happened to the bib, but here, this is the only picture. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of blurry. This is the only picture I have of it. I learned how to do lazy daisies. That was very interesting. I ended up making them look like straight sticks. Instead, I did the actual Lazy Daisy stitch, but because of the ducks being so busy, I ended up making them intentionally look straight because it looked better across the bib overall. If it had just been the one duck and I had done the like Lazy Daisies that were like actually looked like petals, it probably would have been better. But with a plaid duck, with there being a plaid duck and then like a floral duck and then another floral duck in the center, it just looked like it was too much. And it only took me about a week, I think, maybe less. I think it was like my mom and my grandma were both, my grandma was visiting, were both like crazy impressed with how fast I stitched it, and I was like, it's mostly one color because I did all of the yellow first, so it was just like blocks of color. The next thing that I have that's finished, it's not a finished object yet. Where did it go? No. Right. This is my first time doing French knots. I made this rooster for my grandma for Christmas this year. My first time doing French knots. Look, there's eyeballs on the things. It's so exciting. So when I get home, it came with a little plastic frame, and I'm going to finish it like this and send it to her for Christmas this year. So those are the things that I have that are finished. I have two things aside from Mickey, but I have no idea what happened to him, so that's a complete mystery. There may be some other things that I don't remember, but I don't have them. I don't know if I've done any Christmas ornaments that are finished. I might have. I'm not sure. I'll find out at Christmas. I have cross-stitched, and I stopped cross-stitching it because, one, because this was for my cousin as well. I was going to make her something else for her baby shower because she knew about the bib. I didn't show her the finished bib until she got the package at her baby shower. But I wanted to make her something else. And then there was this whole thing about I don't want anything handmade and stuff like that. So I decided to not finish it because I didn't want to work on it because I had already started my first Heaven and Earth design at this point in the summer. So I didn't want to work on this if she wasn't going to want to use it. So I don't know if you can see this without. So see that little pillow that says nap time? That's what I was cross stitching. I changed the pattern a little bit to use floss that I had, and I wanted to try using variegated floss. So instead of doing, she had a baby girl, so I used this. This is what I got done, and I was gonna have this done and put this on the center of a baby blanket, or in the corner of a baby blanket, because it says nap time, so it was going to be a nap time blanket. And it was a baby girl, so instead of doing a patchwork blanket, I used pink variegated floss to make the blanket that went on the bear, and I used a brown honey color floss to make the bear, because when pictures on Instagram, when I pulled the colors, I don't know if it's because of when, I don't know why, but when I pulled the colors and tried to stitch the bear according to the pattern, it ended up looking kind of like a lion instead of a bear, and I didn't like it. So I pulled it out and was like, I'm already trying to use variegated floss, so, but I still have the pattern, and I still have hang on one second. Things are falling down. Let's see. This is my cross stitching, not the pattern. I still have the like notes of all of the color changes that I made and what I wanted to change, because I wanted to make like the grass is half stitches. So I wanted to use this variegated green that I had instead of having it all be one thick thing. And the nap time words, I think I was planning to do in the variegated pink as well, because the baby blanket was going to be pink. So I still have that if something along those lines changes. So that's my one of my unfinished projects that I still have. My second unfinished project is this summer. I wanted to try doing a little full coverage project while I was in the process of like working on getting all the stuff to do my Heaven and Earth project together. I really wanted to use the Magic Guide gridded Ada, and that was going to take a long time to come. It ended up not, but it said it was going to take a long time to come. So I got Disney, I think it's Disney DreamWorks, Disney Dream Tinkerbell kit. It was a 7.5 by 5, I think, of Tinkerbell with the London clock tower flying, and I sorted it and I was really proud and I was having a lot of fun. And again, my mom and grandma were still there. Here's the picture that I have. It's the Disney Dream Collection. Oh, come on, turn the right way. Come on, do something. Sorry. Whoa, this is weird. Okay, hang on. Let me see if I turn the brightness down on my screen. There you go. What is happening? Okay, I can fix this. Hang on, peoples. Sorry. Alright. Ta-da. There. So that's what I was trying to stitch, and this is how far I got. And then I realized, so that was pretty far. I had the first row completely across, and I was doing 10 by 10 blocks because that's how I was going to do it in my Heaven and Earth design to see if I liked it. I hadn't tried parking because I didn't, well, I think I had tried parking, but I wasn't like, I declared myself done because the way I sorted the floss, and I like double checked it 5 times. My mom checked it, my grandma checked it, and it all came out right according to the pattern. But the sky is purple and the clouds are purple, and if you look at this picture, there's white. I hadn't done the metallics and the blending ones because I was going to do those last. So that's what the empty spaces are for. But there's no white or light colors. It's purple and blue and black almost. So it's like, okay, and this isn't DMC, so I couldn't start back over. So that's unfinished. I don't know if anything's ever going to happen with that, but that's what that is. So that's all of the things that I can remember and or have that I've stitched, and my unfinished projects. So, get to cross something off my list. Hooray! Alright, so now I'm going to talk about what I'm doing now. Yay! So, my mom planned to cross stitch for my brother. She never got to. He's the only one that doesn't have a stocking that's like his. My mom has one that her mom made. My dad has one that his mom made. I have one that my grandma made, and Brandon doesn't have a stocking. He does have a stocking, but it's not like one. The other reason for that is when he was little, he wanted to like buy a different stocking every year. So that's the other reason we ended up not ever making him one. But she had this kit. I don't have a cover pattern. I only have the paper pattern. So let me look at it for a second and see if I can show you something. No, hang on. I'm gonna find a picture. Should have done this before now. Sorry. Let's see. Alrighty, let's see. But it's stocking. I'm gonna talk about what I do with it while I try and find a picture of the cover that I'm planning to make for when I have kids someday. So I call it my someday project. And I only work on it in December because that way I know I always have something to work on in December that's Christmassy. And sometimes I work on it other times of the year. But I think this will be the 3rd or 4th December that I've worked on it. I am looking. Here we go. Da-da-da. Let's see. I found it. Alright, here we go. That's what it's going to look like when it's all finished. So it's a Noah's Ark stocking. And this is what it's done so far. So this is about maybe, and I'm doing all the metallics and knots and all that stuff and outlining last because that's what the directions say to do. So, but this is it. The first year, all I got done was like maybe 1 or 2 hearts because I realized that I miscounted and I put it away and didn't touch it. And then the next year, I had some more like sewing experience and watched some cross-stitch videos on YouTube. But this was before I knew about Floss tube at all. About how it's okay if you mess up. So then I picked it up again, and yeah, that's where it is so far. I don't know if I'm gonna work on this all December this year because you'll see in a second. And all of this floss should be sorted the right way. I want to figure out a different way to store it. This is how it's stored right now. I have it on index cards that I cut up and have hole punched. So I'd like to try and figure out a different way to store it. This is the felt. It came with everything to finish it. I'm probably going to get different yarn because this kit had been sitting in a bag in like my mom's sewing box since she found out she was pregnant with my brother, and I pulled it out and started doing it like 3 years ago. So it's an old kit. This is the yarn. It's all very not intact. When I first pulled it out, I thought it was like dehydrated like Twizzlers or something, because it does not look like yarn. So when I do get around to doing that, but that won't be until the name is filled in, which won't be until I actually have a child someday. So that's that project. The next project that is a currently going project is my Ice Princess. It is the free Heaven and Earth design. This is what it's going to look like. There might be some glare because there's tape on it. This is what it's going to look like when it's finished. I'm still on the first page. I started this in July. And it's been on lots of different frames. Here, let me make this tight really quick. Let me make this tight and pretty. Hang on. So I started this in July because that's when I got it finished kitting up, sort of. There were 2 flosses that were missing, so I had to order those from online. So I started doing it and went around them. Almost done, I promise. Alright. I'm sorry, my back's not very pretty. This is my Ice Princess so far. It's a lot of trees. Lots and lots of detailed trees. I tried to do at one point, instead of doing 10 by 10 blocks, a 20 by 20 block. That's what that confetti stitching up there is. I didn't like it, because then when I picked it up, it was really hard to get back on track with what I was doing, because I tried to do that right around the time I started packing to come to college. So when I went to pick it up when I got to school, I was like, what did I do? So this is this so far. I'm right here right now. I'm gonna finish up doing all these park threads and then go back through. My goal is I want to finish the first page before the new year. So I might only stitch on the stocking on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I don't want to not stitch on it at all this year because I want to make some progress. But I really want to get the first page done before the new year. Also, the second page is her face. So I get to start stitching the actual Ice Princess, which is exciting. So the first page is like right here, because it ends on this curl of her hair right there. And then the second page is like her hair and like part of her eye lashes. So that's gonna be fun. My trees do look really pretty though. I like them. Sometimes I get really confused because I'm like, wait, are my trees upside down? Because when I look at it this way, it still kind of looks like trees. Because like this is the tree instead of this being the tree. So, but it's still really pretty. And I use lots of needle minders. This is a magnetic bookmark because I saw on Instagram somebody using a clothespin needle minder for their park threads, and I really liked it, but she didn't have any to order at the time, and I was impatient, so I used one of my magnetic bookmarks and just used a normal magnet on the back. So that's my Ice Princess. And so those are the 2 things that I'm currently working on that are currently actually going. Other things that I'm planning to work on, I joined the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Passport Stitch Along because I've been wanting to do a year-long stitch along for a while, but I didn't feel that I was good enough or had the money or lots and lots and lots of other things. And so I got that. I have lots of cross-stitching packages that will be waiting for me when I get home from school, because over Thanksgiving break I was like, okay, anything I order, unless it's 2-day shipping with Amazon Prime, I'm going to have shipped to home, because that way I know it'll definitely get to me. Because we're off until sometime in January, once we do go home after exams. So, things that I want to work on or am going to work on that I haven't started yet is, one is the frosted pumpkins. The second one is for my roommate for Christmas. She asked me to make her, I'm pulling up the picture. This one I can show you the cover of the pattern because it does exist. The Doctor Who clock from Cloud's Factory. So, and I ordered hand-dyed fabric and hand-dyed floss from, I think it's pronounced Jottery Designs. And the hand-dyed floss I ordered is Dematerializing TARDIS, because I knew it existed. It's like, I have to use that if I'm stitching something Doctor Who. So, my Christmas present to her this year, because it might not end up being fully stitched until next Christmas, not entirely sure, we'll see how that goes, is going to be showing her that it's fully kitted up, so that I can actually work on it. And then the other two things that I have in my plans to do are my friend whose mom is a stitcher. I went with them for a fall break, which is like not at Thanksgiving, to Florida. She gave me some cross stitch stuff. She gave me this, she gave me this little gold ornament that I really want to stitch something on for Christmas this year. But I don't want to show you the pattern that came with it. It's on the back of this, because I just don't want to deal with that stuff yet. Or hopefully ever at all. But it's 2 candy canes that cross like this, and there's a little bow in the middle. And it's kind of cute, but I just don't think it goes with gold reindeers. So I want to find something to stitch on this that I think would go with gold reindeers. So that's one thing. And the other thing is, she gave me this Christmas card kit. I really do like it, but I don't know who I want to give it to or anything like that, because I think I want to keep it, but I don't want to write a Christmas card to myself, so I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with that. So that's all of the stuff that I plan to do, and everything is currently on except for this, but this is equivalent to 14 count Aida. It says everything is on Aida. I'd like to try using different fabrics, even the kit that I got for Frosted Pumpkin. I got the Aida kit because I want to try other things, but I don't want to try, I want to try something that I'm familiar with stitching on a new fabric. So like something like if I did this, or the giraffe. Not this, I wouldn't stitch the other one of these on even weave or linen, because I'd want all of these to look consistent. Which, saying that, I don't even know what count of Aida this is, because this is the only piece they had. Like I said, they didn't have any black there, black floss there. That's why it didn't get outlined. And the other thing that I wanted to ask you guys a question. I use the Goodreader app for my digital patterns, and I really like using it. I was wondering if any of you know how to, like, if I have to go to a place to get a paper pattern scanned, how do you get or can you get paper patterns put on Goodreader to use them digitally? So that's my question. And let me know what you guys want to see or anything like that. Yeah, that's all. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll make another video when I know what I want to do for another video. So, bye guys.